YouTube! Welcome to the shop. Today we're going to make a few picture frames. Both of these are made out of mahogany. So let's get started. Well, we've been needing some picture frames for around the house, and I came up with the design that I wanted for these picture frames, and I had a few pieces of what I think is mahogany, and we're going to start planing them and get started working on this. And now the next step is to joint these. So you have one square edge to both faces. Most of the work for these picture frames can actually be done on the table saw. I'm just going to start ripping them down to 1.5 inches. So here is a cross-section view of the picture frame. I did change a few dimensions. This is 1.5 inches, and but everything else will stay the same. On this edge, I will have a routed edge, and I think I might change this edge to a chamfer, and then the middle will be a very small cove. We'll see how that looks. So how I have this set up is this groove will hold the plywood backing, and this groove will hold the plexiglass and your picture. I got the first groove set up, and I'm going to hug it out with the blade. Well, I got my sacrificial fence set up the way I wanted to do, and I just kind of eyeballed it with what kind of cove looked nice on this trim, and I'm just about ready to cut it. Really all I did was just eyeball it. I kind of drew what I wanted and eyeballed it. The Wood Whisperer has something on this. You know, if you're building a picture frame, you really want to be careful about the length, and you want to make sure whenever you are cutting your miters that you want both pieces to be exactly the same length, and that's to ensure that the angles aren't oblong or something. And so whenever you're doing this, just go with your fingers. Make sure the edges are smooth. If you can't feel the edge, you know they're both even. But if you can feel the edge, then you need to cut it. Like this one, I can feel a little bit. So then you need to go back and cut that much off. So once you get the two opposing sides exactly the same length, it's now time to start the glue up, and it really helps if you have a band clamp like this. Unfortunately, I only have one, but I'm making two picture frames, so the second one's going to have to wait for a couple hours until this one's dried enough that it can sustain it being held. I usually use Type Bond wood glue for just about everything. I bought a gallon of it, and it works pretty nice. I've been pretty happy with it. Now, something I'm going to do to keep this flat is I'm going to lay a board across here and use a clamp and actually clamp it down to the table. That way it keeps it flat. Sometimes if you don't do that, it'll warp on you and your joints won't look very nice. Take my finger and clean up the glue. It's just that much less you have to sand off. Especially in those joints. It's very hard in those joints. And I'm just taking and wiping my finger off. When you're wiping glue, don't just drag your finger. Actually do like a sweeping motion. That way you can pick up the glue and get it off, not smear it around. Sometimes it's hard to do that in the corners. And now we wait till that one's dry. Well, overall, I think this was a pretty good project. I have since lacquered it, put a couple coats of lacquer on it, and on the back I've put picture frame wire, some rubber stoppers, and the back plate. And overall, it's turned out pretty nicely. The one of these sparkles very nicely whenever you turn it around. I don't know if you can see it sparkling in the camera, but I'll turn it a whole bunch of directions. You can kind of see it on either side. As Captain Eddie says, it is chatoyant. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and share. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Google+, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.